There's a viral post going around from HoeMath, a creator who's been blowing up lately for his brilliant commentary on male-female dynamics, complete with hand-drawn visuals, razor-sharp narration, and a delivery that cuts straight through social fog. The man's smart and brave enough to take ideas seriously in a world that rewards distraction, which makes this particular post even more worth addressing. Here's what he said. The only way to get large numbers of humans to behave well enough for civilization to function is to convince most of them that an invisible giant will set them on fire forever if they have the wrong kind of sex. Now, this is obviously clever. It's biting. And it is not aimed at one particular faith. It's a dig at the entire concept of religious morality. That humans, left to our own devices, would be monsters, and that civilization has had to scare us straight with stories of eternal punishment. Invisible giant is a catchy phrase for it. So I replied, agreed. What's your point exactly? Because here's the thing. Even if you hate religion, mock it, burn the books, ban the buildings, exile the priests, you still end up with an invisible giant. You just renamed it, rebranded it, put it in a lab coat, and handed it a podcast mic. You can laugh at people who believe a divine being shaped the world and that moral laws. You can sneer at angels and sacred texts. You can post memes about talking snakes and virgin births. But you can't escape the real problem. You have a mythology too. Modern secular morality is built on a giant invisible assumption that reason alone is enough to create a moral order, that humans can just think their way into a civilization. HoeMath replied with total sincerity and respect, I'm just disappointed that people can't understand morality through reason and then adhere to it on principle. That's the only way I've ever done it. And I really could not imagine outsourcing my moral reasoning. It's also alarming and depressing this year, percentage of people who cannot understand morality through reason even when you explain it to them. This is the most honest version of the secular position. He means it. He lives it. And I respect him for saying it plainly. But here's where the real disagreement begins. Saying you base morality on reason is like saying you build a house using tape measures. A tape measure helps, but someone still decides what should be built, what is good, what matters. And if your starting point is unprovable, then you're in the same boat as every religious person you mock. Let's play it out. I believe in maximizing well-being. Okay, define well-being. Not suffering. Define suffering. Pain? Define what kind of pain matters and why. Oh, that's subjective. Exactly. You're still starting from faith, just with more TED Talks and fewer candles. But before you get too smug on the religious side, let's not pretend it has a spotless track record either. Religious people have used their invisible giant to justify death, destruction, and horror on a scale that rivals anything the secular world has done. Crusades, inquisitions, theocracies that murdered dissidents. None of this proves which side is more dangerous. It only proves that humans will weaponize whatever story they believe in. The danger isn't the system, it's pretending your system isn't one. And the clearest giveaway that secular rationalists are living by faith, how they answer the question of death. Your faith shows in how you answer what happens after death, and the modern answer is always the same. When we die, our physical body decomposes, our consciousness ceases, and we're gone forever. That's it. Oh, how do you know? This isn't a scientific conclusion, it's a belief. It's an invisible giant wearing a hoodie that says, "Trust the science," while confidently announcing that the afterlife is a myth because nobody's come back to Yelp about it yet. But declaring you rot in the dirt and that's it as some kind of triumph of reason is intellectually embarrassing. It's like a goldfish insisting it understands ocean currents because it once did laps in a filtered tank. Mocking others for believing in an invisible giant is cute until you realize You're living like nothing happens after. So here's the real question. Who's really living with more purpose? The one who believes they're being watched by something holy, or the one who believes in total annihilation and yet still posts moral advice on Twitter? Everyone has a framework. If you really want to compare them, stack up the habits. A religious believer prays to God. A secular rationalist debates ethics on Reddit. A religious believer trusts in an afterlife. A secular rationalist believes in worm food. A religious believer has a defined moral code. A secular rationalist runs on a shifting algorithm. A religious believer goes to church. A secular rationalist watches podcast clips. A religious believer lives with cosmic accountability. A secular rationalist lives for temporary vibes. You can't argue your way into good. You have to believe something about what good is. You can't measure dignity with a microscope. You can't logic your way to love. And you sure as hell can't build a civilization just by rejecting old myths and replacing them with a dead-eyed certainty that we're all meaningless chemical reactions counting down to non-existence. Your invisible giant doesn't offer heaven or hell. It offers nothing. And somehow you think that's superior? HoeMath deserves credit for being one of the few creators out there engaging real ideas in good faith. His content is clear, sharp, and useful, especially in a culture full of cope and noise. I respect the exchange we had, but I'll stand by this. Everyone has an invisible giant. Mine is divine. Yours is decay and statistical averages. Only one of those builds cathedrals, civilizations, and families that fight to survive. So don't tell me you don't have a faith. Just admit that yours has a PowerPoint instead of stained glass. Leave a comment below if you've ever realized the most rational people often have the most fragile beliefs. Share this with someone who thinks they're above religion while accidentally inventing one.